So it's a positive seed. Manifestation is based on what you believe. Outcome depends on how the situation perceived. And no limit to what the power of the mind can achieve. Keep it going, never stop. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Strive Tribe. Welcome to another podcast. Today we have a special guest with us. We have Chelsea Leigh with us, and she's going to be going into a little bit about holistic nutrition, some benefits about stress, and how it's alleviated through like workout, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. She is a personal trainer. She is a holistic nutritionist and an Instagram influencer, and actually a social media influencer at that. You guys definitely have to check out her stuff. I will, at the end of this, I'll go ahead and post her information in the bio. So give her a follow and definitely check her out. But going into that today, Chelsea, how you doing?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing awesome.
Gym owner. Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's great connecting with you. I mean, I know like we hang out and stuff like that here and there, like on the holidays with all our friends and everything. But I mean, it's definitely good to connect with you on a different aspect. I mean, I've definitely seen a lot of your social media content and stuff, and us being in the same industry in the same field. It's definitely nice to see other people putting out like amazing content. So I just want to give you like hats off. Like honestly, keep up the work. I know it's not easy. One, trying to think of content, but two, to be consistent, and you are consistently driving that out. So definitely, hats off to you on that.
Well, thank you. And honestly, right back at you. And I've known, for people listening, I've known Devin since college, and he's always killed it with clients, with training, with knowledge. And that's something that has been such a superpower for him, is truly just like spitting knowledge all the time, and not annoyingly, like just like honestly spitting knowledge because he's so knowledgeable. And I knew you were going to own a gym, and you do. And I'm so happy about it. So hats off to you as well. So thank you. And it's really cool to chat with you and be on this. And I'm excited.
Thank you. And let's get into it. So let's start off, with what is holistic nutrition and, the benefits of it.
Totally. So basically, like you said, I've been a trainer for like 7 years, going on 8. And in the beginning of it, you're learning so much. You're learning about your body. You're also helping clients and stuff and doing the whole thing. And I started off with macros, just like the simple macros. And I still do macros, absolutely, with my clients, just to kind of see where they're at, what their goals are, their weight, all that stuff. But the holistic approach that I've honed in on and graduated from a integrative program for the past 2 years-ish is more about the idea that it's not just diet and exercise. There's so many factors that go into weight loss, weight gain, so many, whether it's hormonal, whether it's stress, whether it's sleep, your relationships, your living situation, your career. Like there's so much that I think people tend to separate the two of, okay, I've got this going on like over here, but I'm working out really hard and I'm drinking lots of water. So like I'm good, and I'm eating well. And like, it's so much broader. And I think that's something that I didn't even realize at the height of my, I almost competed and then didn't. I never did a fitness competition, but
why didn't you?
I don't know. I really don't know. I was close. I was honestly close, but I was nervous. I was nervous that I would get my body to like such a place. And then, I'm a girl, then I'd be sad, be like, I'm never going to get back to that. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't do it. But, I think that I had a lot of stressors going on, and I was putting a lot of pressure on like my body. And I wasn't like taking into consideration that like, maybe I was really stressed and maybe I just needed to chill. And so it's just all those factors that kind of come into it, and what makes it more of a holistic approach to nutrition and holistic approach to even fitness as well.
No, that's definitely awesome. I mean, not a lot of people realize that it's not one size fits all,
For sure.
like it's and that's where I think a lot of trainers that are starting out, I mean, both of us have been in the game for a little while. So, I mean, even when we both started out, it's one of those things where you're told and you read from like the beginning stages of the textbooks and stuff, where if this is the answer, this how it is, and it's not that way. Each person is different, right? Whether it's their mindset, which affects your stress levels, which affects your hormones, whether it is your nutrition, because again, you could be eating the same amount of calories, but the composition of the macros are different, and that's affecting you.
Right.
And it could be, same body type, everything, but just your hormone levels are different, and it's one of those things where that's where a lot of people do get, mixed up. Like you were saying, that it's okay, I'm doing everything right, I'm eating right, and I'm working out. Then, it's like, well, why am I not where I want to be? It's like, well, maybe you're doing the right things, but not in the right bundle for you.
Right. Totally. And that's why the first topic that we want to talk about, stress, is so important. And so, tying everything together with holistic, but also with not holistic, just in general, stress and the body and why it can inhibit weight loss. And point blank, flat out, stress and weight loss are not separate. And that is what a lot of people tend to do, is they can be super stressed at work, have something going on in their life, have even chronic stress going on. And, they're working out super hard and they're like, it's okay, I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that when I get home. And I've had clients that have come to me that have been so good with their nutrition, working out in the gym, trying to prioritize, their water and all their stuff and like having rest days and whatever. And their body is just holding on. And it's like your body doesn't feel safe. It feels like it can't let go. And there's a bunch of different like science with that, of course, with cortisol and everything that we can touch on a little bit. We won't get too geeky. But with cortisol, when you have a stressor, so let's say it's environmental, physical, mental, emotional, whatever it is, you have a stressor, your body is like, okay, I got to release cortisol. I need to get this person back to chillness, back to homeostasis, right? And homeostasis is just like where we're cool, we're calm, we're collected, we're in balance. But the thing about cortisol is a lot of people don't realize it also, it's a steroid hormone that's produced through your adrenal glands, but it also helps your body naturally help you use proteins, carbs, and fats. It regulates your metabolism. It also suppresses inflammation. So it does like a lot of good. And the problem is that when it's not being turned off. So when it's not being turned off and you have this stress, you're just like a ball of stress. And I try to use kind of the fight or flight example, which everyone uses like a bear or a lion. And I'm like, where are you guys living? Like, what is, we're in California. I don't know what you are. You're in the Valley, Orange County. But honestly, let's put that scenario for a second. You're being chased by a bear. You kind of go into this fight or flight situation. It could be the same with waking up. You have your coffee, you get a work email, you get something that puts you in a state of like, like what's going on? I have to like put out this fire, or I have to deal with this crisis. And it can have this like effect on your body where your body is thinking like, okay, I need fuel and I need calories to deal with this. And so that's why some people are like really, really hungry. Like they're constantly hungry because their cortisol is going all through them. Some people also just depends on like everyone's appetite and appetite triggers and all of these things, but some people just don't eat at all. And then they kind of lose weight. But then what ends up happening too is like after that point passes, your body's like, I'm still going to hold on because I need something. I need fuel and I don't have it and I'm constantly stressed. And so everyone's different and everyone's stressor is different and everyone is dealing with their own battle. And so it's really easy to go on Instagram and search top tips for how to de-stress. And it's not that easy. You have to really think about, what is it that's causing this? Do I need to have some extra time in the morning to like relax? Do I need to go on some walks? Do I really need, you got to just check in with you, and that's pretty much kind of all it is just realizing that stress can be the silent killer.
And like how, like, I mean,
honestly,
I know each person does have their own way of dealing with stress. For me, for example, like I'm at best when I am stressed because I like a lot of work, but at the same time, because for me, just naturally, the way I deal with it is diving into work or working out. Those are my two outlets.
Right.
And I know that but I've learned that over time that I can just put all my focus on one of those two things, my workout or into building the business. And literally I forget about everything else and I focus on that. So my stress starts to alleviate a little bit, because everyone has those days. What is a good way that you, deal with stress, or, a good way that you tell your clients, some like tips to try?
Totally. And what you say about that too, I love to work out when I'm stressed. Some people don't. Some people are completely like, they can't be taken away from something and go work out, even if it's just an hour. So I agree with you on that. And I think there's a balance of figuring out, like, there's working till burnout, which isn't good for anybody,
right?
To where you can't function for you can't function for people around you. You don't want to do that. But whatever your stress reliever is, and if being productive makes you less stressed, I'm all for that. Like, I am all for, you can't be a baby. You got to put your big girl pants on. You got to realize when you're being lazy, big boy pants, when you're being lazy and when you're, actually needing to rest. But I have a couple recommendations for people when it comes to this stuff. And I kind of touch on coffee a little, and everyone gets really upset because I love coffee. I noticed that when I was having a phase or a problem or stressed or worried about business or worried about stuff, that when I had coffee, I would kind of go into that kind of fight or flight where everything was like worse. I was anxious. And so I cut it out for a little bit. And then now I bring it back in here and there. But in the morning, my stress reliever is truly to be able to have a morning. And what I mean by that is like, I don't wake up and head out the door. Like I do wake up and head out the door, but I give myself time, which involves waking up early, and I wake up earlier and I sit down. Like I literally, whether it's water with lemon, whether it is a little bit of coffee, maybe a little bit of food with it if I'm feeling a little anxious, like to not just give myself coffee, but whatever it is. I have a little book that's like a short little meditation that I read. It takes 5 seconds. And I just like sit and I think about the day and I kind of gather my thoughts. I don't just run in the bathroom and get ready. I like take that time to just kind of breathe. And yeah, it takes waking up earlier, but I'm more at peace with my day.
Honestly,
that's just kind of what I do.
That's honestly interesting that you say that that's what you do, because that's almost identically what I do. Like,
really?
I'm like no bullshit. Like, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm still up. The gym opens at 5, so I have to be here by 5.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I've noticed that if I wake up with the exact amount of time to get ready and get out of the house, you know, it's one of those things where I already feel like I'm waking up in a panic, and then my day starts off stressful. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather sacrifice that extra 30 minutes or even an hour and wake up, you know, for me, like make coffee because, you know, that's just my morning thing. And then make like a small little like breakfast, not anything big because I'm honestly super not hungry at 3 a.m., you know? So it's one of those things where, so it's usually something small and easy. But then I do have a book as well that just depending on which book I'm at, but it's one of those ones where it's not like a super like dive in, you know, textbook or anything like that, but it's one of those nice and easy books that you wake up, you read, you get your mind going, and then it's like, all right, cool, it's time to start getting ready. And you start off your day with one, already in a learning phase and taking a lesson from something. 2, you wake up, you know, you have time, so you're waking up like at peace. But one thing I think people, when they wake up, and like both of you and I both just said that we read or do something that's peaceful in the morning. I think the biggest mistake that people make is they wake up and immediately they check their phone. Like that's one thing that like I noticed.
I was going to say it.
I've heard someone, you know, talk about it. I forget where I listened to it, but then I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty smart. You wake up and immediately you either see other people that are ahead of you or you see the negative stuff on social media. So you're starting your day off, even though you might have all that time, you're supposed to be in peace. Like you're starting off with your brain already thinking about the negative things of the world, or you're already looking at where you want to be and where you're not. So it's like, for me, not looking at my phone and just reading, or even if I don't feel like reading, like just sitting and just think about the day is super peaceful and actually has led my days to be way more productive. So that's crazy that, you know, both of us do that.
Yeah. No, but it's so crucial. And even I used to wake up at 3:30 when I would teach the 5 a.m. But I was so much younger and I would just get up and go and I would be so frazzled.
Yep.
And with social media, like you just said, why do you care about what everyone else is doing when you're just trying to wake up and you're just trying to do you and you're just trying to get yourself centered? You don't need to see what everyone else is doing. And so honestly, you can put your phone away. You can like put it in the kitchen, even if it's like 15 minutes.
Right.
Or like have a little timer, you know, start off slow, not to get off on social media, but even putting your phone, like you can actually go on Instagram and set the timer of like, notify me when I've been on this thing for 3 hours and it'll tell you. Yeah. And then that's like a good way to keep it in check. If social media is one of your stressors, if it's something that causes you some stress, put a time limit on it, you know, unless you got to use it for work, but be intentional about it because the scrolling can get anyway. But in also going in line with stress and emotional benefits of exercise and also stress relievers in exercise, I think are huge. And I do them. I know a lot of your clients probably do that. And especially when you have a gym like Strive 11, which you have community and you have people that you know, probably familiar faces, things like that. Even if you're not in the mood, you know, you're kind of grumpy, you got stuff going on, just go. And you always feel better. There's never really times where you leave a workout and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that, you know, unless Devin makes you throw up, you know, for the most part, you're probably really happy. And endorphins and be present. And don't put yourself through a workout just because it's a punishment. Do it because you're able to move your body. It enhances your mood. It helps your sleep. It's just something that's so good, and just being intentional with that. So that kind of goes along with the stress as well.
I mean, one of my favorite like things that I get from clients, besides the, I've lost X amount of pounds and man, I haven't fit into these jeans, that I think one of the more satisfying things, and I know you've gotten this too for sure as a trainer, when someone comes in and they finish the workout and they're like, man, I really needed this today. Or they're like,
yes,
I've been looking forward to this all day. I've had such a stressful day. And then they're like, I need to come in. Or, it's like, dang, like they really want to be here, or like, they really want to train with us. So it's one of those things as a trainer, like hearing that is also almost like just music to the ears.
For sure. And that's why sometimes if I have to cancel like a PT session, I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I know that this is your stress reliever and you get to be that for somebody. And that's so great. That's like a beautiful thing. But yeah, so it's a lot of people need it, more than they think they do, especially the people that come at night. People that work out after work, I always give props to those people because you've had a day, but it's just you just got to show up.
Yep.
You literally just got to show up and then you're fine and you're there and, you're done in an hour. And you probably would scroll on Instagram when you got home.
The hardest part is honestly, especially with you having a trainer like yourself, or you come to like a program like we have, the hardest part we tell people is showing up. Like the hardest part is getting your car into the parking lot. Once you walk in the door, like you don't got to think about anything. Like we're going to do it for you. You just got to do the work.
Anything.
Yeah.
I know. Group fitness. That's why it's my favorite.
No,
honestly
even
my
like
favorite.
PT sessions like you have as well. Like they're showing up to train with you. Like you have the workouts. Like they don't have to think about anything. They just get to do the workout. The hardest part is just getting there. Once you get that first set out of the way, then all of a sudden you're like, all right, I'm back into it. It's just that first set is just the hardest.
Exactly. So, use exercise as your stress reliever. Just do it unless of course you really do need to rest, or you are kind of punishing yourself and you don't have a good intention behind it. But it is like such a powerful stress reliever and endorphin releaser. So absolutely.
Do you personally, or do you recommend any supplements kind of tying into just holistic like supplements, but supplements that you recommend clients that, are more stressed or anything like that?
So in terms of supplements in the whole supplement world, I'll let Devin talk to you guys about that. When it comes to like fitness subs, I'm sure he has a whole list of those. But in terms of supplements that I kind of recommend for like your life and the functionality of your body, let's start with the stress. If you can find, whether it's someone to do your blood work, which doesn't have to be that pricey. I do work with a holistic doctor, but even just a regular doctor, Western, Eastern, doesn't matter. But they have tinctures or pills of adrenal support that you can take. And what these do is they help balance out your cortisol, which is huge. And then also just help you kind of like adapt to everyday stressors. There's also things with like adaptogens, as long as they're natural and they're good, those can do wonders, especially if you're someone who is like, okay, I am stressing and I can't really eliminate it, but I need to like deal with my day. So any adrenal support, especially when you travel, if there's like a time change, kind of helps you like sleep better, relax to like everything or adjust to everything going on. L-theanine. You can get that on Amazon. I think it's L and then THEANINE.
Yeah.
That is a natural stress helper. It's a teeny little pill, very powerful. Take that before bed. So that would be for stress. For overall like gut health, probiotics. Probiotics are very confusing. We could have a whole podcast on probiotics. But probiotics have like a million different strains and like it's somewhere in the fridge, like why are in the fridge? So it's confusing. But if you can, again, kind of find like a doctor that you could work with to just maybe tell you the strains that you need. I obviously have some I recommend that I get like some discounts on and stuff, but I really do love them.
And then if you want to shoot me that link as well, if you have a link or anything like that,
I will.
For that kind of stuff, like definitely send it to me and I'll put it in the show notes for you guys as well.
Sure.
Just because, I mean, it's not something that we focus mainly on, like this kind of side of the supplement world isn't really our specialty. This is definitely more Chelsea's specialty. So we'll definitely go ahead and link that so you guys can see what exactly she's talking about as well.
Yeah. And if anyone has questions, of course, about this stuff, I know it's kind of weird and scary. And if you don't know this world, but when your gut's off, you're off. Like your gut is your second brain and it's a whole thing. So Digestion is huge. Along with digestion, magnesium, 2 capsules at night. If you are somebody that does either struggle with bloating, digestion issues, there's also like a million different types of magnesium. So magnesium oxide will be the one that you want to take for tummy stuff. If you're like deficient in magnesium, there's like other ones that you could do, and you can read about them. Again, you could talk to your doctor, because I always say I'm a nutritionist and I can do all things nutrition and recommend supplements to you, but I can't do like a blood panel with you. So those are things that you could, we always want to know what's going on. So find out your blood type, all that stuff. But in terms of magnesium, you could find out kind of like if you're deficient at all. But just for overall like tummy, stuff like that, magnesium oxide, I can also send the brands to Devin as well that I just personally recommend. A fish oil. Fish oils are great, not only for your joints, for getting omega-3s. A lot of people are deficient in omega-3s. People are getting a lot of omega-6s from food and from not like the best food either. So people are kind of deficient in omega-3s. And also, it's a whole other thing, but if you do have any like skin issues, psoriasis, eczema, all that stuff, a fish oil and a probiotic can really help clear that up.
Do you believe in, I know you mentioned the probiotics twice.
Yes.
Do you use or recommend prebiotics at all?
Yeah. So the one I take, and you can get other ones, it has a prebiotic in it.
Got it.
So it's a synbiotic. So it's a pre and a pro.
Got it.
And the pre is like feeding the good guys. It's super confusing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I take one with both, and it's great. And it's not something that you necessarily want to rely on, but when you have it, everything kind of functions better. So yeah, definitely having a pre in there is good. And then the last one, 2 more. Okay, really quick. Collagen. Collagen is crucial. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. Make sure you get a liquid one, not a powder.
Why do you say liquid versus powder?
Because, again, we could have a whole podcast on this. So collagen is not only for like hair, skin, nails, all the beauty stuff. Collagen's for joints, ligaments, tissues, stretch marks, gut lining, and we lose it at age 25. So we stop like naturally producing it. So a lot of people take collagen, but the powder, which I only found out like 2 years ago, once you open it, it hits air and it oxidizes. And so it kind of becomes like nothing after a certain amount of time. And so you're kind of just taking artificial preservatives, not necessarily harmful, but not necessarily doing anything.
So you're saying like a half-life, basically?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And when you have a liquid, it absorbs in the body very quickly. The one I have is sealed really, really quickly. It's like a little bottle, and you take like a shot a day and it just absorbs into your body, and people are just loving it. So that is just good it's kind of the glue that holds you together.
That's interesting. I mean, one, collagen I definitely agree with, because I put that in my coffee every single morning.
Yeah.
I have a caramel collagen. If you mix that with coffee, you don't need a creamer or anything.
Probably so good.
All I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that like you bring up that point. And I mean, honestly, it's something that I have to look into too. Like, I'm not like doubting you.
Yeah.
Because if you think about, like, just as you were saying it, it's like if you open up a protein container, right, and the protein still hits the air, so like there's not that like a super chemical reaction versus like a protein shake.
Mm-hmm.
But also like with the liquid collagen, like even if you're opening it and the air is hitting it, even for that brief second, like almost think about like wine. When you open a wine, what happens? It starts to oxidize, right?
Yeah.
So like I feel like that could go either way. And again, I don't know that much about it. I'm just like, that's just a thought in my head, but that's definitely interesting, and that's definitely something I'm gonna look up too, because it's one of those things where if that is 100% true, then I definitely have to start recommending that to clients as well, because that's crazy. That's awesome. That that's information I've never even heard, and I'm definitely look that up, because that's so interesting.
I hadn't heard it either. I was shocked, and I was taking Vital Proteins forever, and I was putting it in my coffee, and I never was like, my skin feels better. Or, I mean, I have some scalp psoriasis sometimes, and it happens when I'm stressed, and it's annoying as hell. But never did that start clearing up until I switched to collagen, ever. So I think there's something to it, but I also think that like it might not be every powdered collagen. I don't really know about the protein. I feel like, I don't know. I mean, there is a lot of science out there, but that's valid.
Yeah, I'm not doubting. I'm not doubting what you saw or anything like that. Honestly, it just crossed my mind as I was thinking about it. But honestly, that's so crazy because there is so much information. There's so many things that are coming out like daily, weekly, yearly of new information. So it's one of those things where like even conversations like this, like you're not going to read everything that I read and I'm not going to read everything you've read. So this knowledge, like transformation right here of just both of our brains, it's like you've learned stuff I've never learned and vice versa. So this is where you grow as well too. So that's awesome. I learned something new and definitely can look up something new as well. So that's so cool.
Awesome. Yeah, totally. And I'll send you some stuff on it. But it's the other thing too is if people are, listening and like, wait, what do I do? What do I take? Marine collagen, meaning from fish, is the closest form to human. And so the one I take is a liquid marine collagen. And that's all I know is that is no.
Okay. That's not cool in coffee.
Although, yeah, apparently your fish oil, the fishier your fish oil, like not necessarily smells, but like if you like open up the capsule and you taste it, if it's like super fishy, that's like the best one to take.
Have you ever after taking fish oil, do you ever like if you like burp and not to be gross, but like and it tastes like you sound like sushi and I'm like, damn.
Yes, but that's good, Devin. Yeah. That's good. You're taking a good fish oil then. That's great. But yeah, so the collagen thing is a whole other thing, but if you're going to get one, shoot for liquid. I do have recommendations for that, but shoot for liquid, shoot for marine, and see how you feel. Take it for 30 days. See if you see a difference. My joints feel better. So that's awesome. That's all I can say.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I have one more. I would say a B complex. If you can find a B complex that has all the B vitamins. The B vitamins would be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 12. Basically, like they help. B complexes help your brain function. They help transport nutrients throughout the body and essential for like cellular function, which is just kind of you functioning as a human being.
So, I mean, going into that, or do you take like a multivitamin as well? I know you take like the B complexes and stuff like that, but do you take a multivitamin with that as well?
So honestly, right now, no. And that's something that maybe you could tell me about because I don't take a multivitamin because I feel like I have enough energy right now. I do have my B complex and I feel like good and I'm taking my fish oil, but also I could always be doing more. I could always be vitamin D as well. I have a capsule and I always forget to take it. And honestly, I don't think I've done my own research on a multivitamin that I really like right now. So I don't take one, but that's on the list.
I mean, I'll send you like what we recommend. It's kind of has a mixture of a lot of things that you're saying in it. It's one of those like it comes in a box and it's like a grab pack. So you basically grab all the individual things, but I'll send you the link too so that you can kind of look at it and then you'll let me know if there's different recommendations as well. Because I mean, this is more of your specialty than mine. I've been taking it for years and honestly, like I like it. What I've noticed with taking a multivitamin and why I recommend it to a lot of people is just because of the immunity boost that comes with it. It's not like you're sitting and taking echinacea or anything like that, but just having that overall like nutrients from that kind of balance out any little micro deficiencies that you have, So, and I have noticed it where at first I was like, I took it for a few years and then I was like, man, maybe it is just BS. Maybe it's all in my head. So I did stop taking it for like 3 months and I felt like my energy was a little bit lower. I felt just, I don't know, like overall just, I felt off a little bit. And then I started taking it again and within like a month I was back to normal. So I don't know if it was that or if it was something else, but honestly, I swear by it just because it has been working for me. So
yeah, I agree. No, send it my way. I'm always down to learn.
I know one of the things that I really like about your social media content, and I mentioned in the beginning, is your creativeness in not only like your workouts and stuff like that, but you do little like nutritional advice tips and pieces, whether it's a certain style of smoothie or, that nature. So with people checking you out on that, is there anything that comes to mind that is like an easy or even like a couple things that come to mind that are like easy on the go, like so you don't just not eat and you miss meals or anything like that, if that makes sense?
For sure. Protein shakes are very convenient. They just are, whether you're mixing it with water. I know some of them don't taste the best when they're mixed with water, but also if it tastes super good, you need to look at the ingredients because there could be a lot in there that you don't know what's happening. But protein shakes are always good. If you're like a hummus person, I'm talking about snacks specifically, but like hummus and veggies, rice cakes are always good. On the go things that maybe you can prep ahead of time. If you struggle in the morning with like breakfast and you can make like prepped overnight oats. You can make like chia pudding, stuff like that. For lunches too, kind of picking like 3 things. So whether it's like a brown rice or a quinoa, a veggie, lettuce, and a protein, or something that, and like maybe a fat that you can like pick off the top of your head. Like, okay, I'm going to do a little brown rice. I'm going to throw some lettuce in there. I'm going to throw in some carrots. I'm going to have chicken, like something. Just pick like 5 things and prep it all. Like you can prep it all if you're into like meal prepping or if that helps you. And so you're still getting something. And I think it's so overwhelming for people sometimes of what am I supposed to eat? What am I supposed to do? Just get adequate proteins, carbs, and fats. Don't stress yourself out about it. If you hate something, don't eat it, you know? And if you crave something, you know, like I crave peanut butter. It's a problem. I love peanut butter. It's like something I just crave. Like I'm more of a sweet rather than savory person. And I feel like maybe that has to do with my blood type. Who knows? But I crave certain like sweeter things. And so I think like, okay, how can I like have this in my diet where I'm happy and I can still have some, but it's not, you know, it's not being harmful to me and I'm not eating too much of it. And so kind of just like start somewhere. It doesn't have to be, it could be the simplest meal plan that you maybe just try to stick to. Pick like a certain breakfast, a certain lunch, a certain snack that like maybe 3 of them that you rotate between. But yeah, on the go, I say either prep it, do a protein shake. You also can look at bars, protein bars. I'm not the biggest fan of bars taste wise, but some are good and ingredients wise, some are good. And so that can be like a quick fix for you as well.
No, definitely. And then, I mean, I know we touched on a lot of information for sure. I want to ask one question that I kind of just thought of right now. Looking back from where you currently are, if you were to give yourself as either a fitness enthusiast or even yourself as a trainer, you know, all the way back when you started, what is like a one line or a one thing that you would give yourself advice? Like if you basically had a one hitter quitter.
Oh, Devin.
Like the biggest thing for you right now, like, or like the most important, like whether it's a saying, whether it's, you know, a philosophy, the most important thing, but it has to be one.
I have 2, but I'm going to say, I want to say you can't pour from an empty cup, because I was giving, and I was going, and I had no self-care. And I'm not talking about a spa day,
right,
or something stupid. I was not taking care of myself. Like I was working out so hard, but like not even thinking, like I needed to chill. I straight up needed to chill. And that I don't want to counteract like not giving up, because I also didn't give up. And I think that that's important, especially when you have goals. You keep freaking going and you keep those goals in line of, you know, what you want and what you want to accomplish. But you can't pour from an empty cup. And if you are just going and you are not prioritizing your health even, or whatever it is, and if your knees hurt or if something hurts or something doesn't feel right and you're just still continuing to go, it's just going to all come crashing down.
No, that's definitely a solid one.
And sleep. You need to sleep. Please sleep.
Is the sleep your second one?
Well, yeah. I mean, the first one was that. And the second one is also just, well, I learned this in my program, which is interesting. And I think it's amazing. And I want everybody to know it. But tying into whole body health, right, is you have your primary food and you have your secondary food. Okay. Your primary food is your career, your physical activity, your relationships, your finances. And I say spirituality, not religion, but just something that brings you either closer to you or reminds you that, you know, there's something to have faith in or something to believe in, whatever that is. Your spirituality could be yoga. I don't care. Just something that's, you know, right. a meditative state, whatever. And your secondary food is the food on your plate. And all of those things can affect the food on your plate. And that's kind of what I mean of just like not pouring from an empty cup, is just like, if you're in a toxic relationship, you're going to go for the chocolate at night. If you hate your job, maybe you have client dinners and you're forced to drink alcohol all the time, or you're forced to be in situations where there's not good food, healthy food available to you. And then all that stuff ties into stress. And so if all those 5 things are kind of going okay for you, then it does affect what you have on your plate. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to like live by. of checking in with yourself. That would be my second one, checking in with yourself.
That second one, that definitely tied into the first one, but that
Kinda
second
hits.
one is definitely deep. Like, honestly, like, thinking about that,
Yeah.
it is so true.
Yeah.
That's definitely a mindset shift right there, because those factors, those are the food of your life, essentially. And that's crazy, because as you think about it, like, the different stresses of the different things, or you tie different kind of foods to certain situations and actual foods to those situations, that's a very interesting thing about. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. It's powerful. It's a good one, but that's what I like remind myself of sometimes, why am I getting cravings for this? Am I like, okay, like doing a body scan,
right?
And just kind of checking in. So,
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on today. Honestly, the information that you have, like, we definitely will do another one in the future for sure.
Yeah.
But honestly, thank you so much again for taking time out of your day. And I know you have clients and stuff as well. So thank you. And I'll definitely put all your information in the bio as well. But if you just want to go ahead and say what your Instagram or your TikTok or whatever, the best way to reach out to you or follow you is.
Yeah. Totally. My Instagram is Chelsea Leigh. A lot of people say Leigh, but it's Leigh. So it's CHELSLEIGH, just all one word. And then probably easiest way to contact me through there. And then my website is chilipepperlife.com, because you need to be spicy all year round. Okay. But yeah, so those are the two.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And we'll definitely talk soon.
It was great. Okay. You too.
All right. Have a good one.